Hey, Katrina here from Scrappy Horses. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so happy you're here, and a happy new year to all of you. Well, with a new year comes new challenges, and we are sort of starting over at Path of Positivity with a brand new theme. And our theme this year is going to be numbers. So, with it being January, we're starting with number 1. And our optional theme is try something for the first time. So I decided I wanted to try making my own die cut into a shaped notebook. So that's what I have done here. And what you are going to see me make is the actual prototype. It's the actual first time with all the mistakes in it. And then what you're going to see now, right now on my Cricut screen, is the changes I have made to make it work a little better than I had it before. Now, if you're interested in making this, you can go to my profile and Cricut Design Space and nab this because I made it all from Cricut shapes. So I believe it should be free for you to make, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's get started. I have all of the pieces doubled. The reason I have doubled them is because I put the holes in case you don't have a cinch machine to bind your notebook together. You can go ahead and get the wire binding, and you can actually close it off with your fingers. I have found that, especially this antique, I believe it's called antique gold or antique bronze. I'll have to go back and look. It's down below because I list all the materials below. I can actually close that off with my fingers. I actually didn't need the machine to do that. Now, when I created this, I did create it using the cinch machine, and you're going to see me do that. So if you have a cinch machine, I'll give you all the measurements for that. If you don't, what I have done is I have gone ahead and put the holes in all of the pieces. I just simply measured, and I saw that the holes were 1/4 of an inch, and they were 1/2 inch apart. So I lined them up on a strip and went through and cut all of the pieces. So you will have access to both pieces, okay? You can either do it with the holes in them or without the holes. So this is how the screen will look when you get there. The first thing you can do is look at your directions. Cut 1 each from designer cardstock. Cut as many as you like from paper. Cut 1 from colored. Print and cut 1 from white cardstock. And then cut 1 each, the front and the back. Okay? This is simply a hole guide. I left it in there in case you want it, but we don't really need it. So we can go ahead and hide that one. Just close the eyeball. Now, once you know what you want to cut, and you're ready to print and cut, the first thing you can do is just simply choose this group right here at the very top, close the eye on it, and that gets rid of all that. Now, you simply go through and choose either the pieces with holes or the pieces without holes. Okay? And that will show you exactly then what you want to cut. All right, I hope that makes sense. If not, you can always throw a question at the bottom of this video. Just type it in there and I will get back with you on that. All right, let's go on over to the craft table. Let me show you how I put this together. Again, there were a lot of things I changed, and we'll talk about that as we go through that video. All right, I'll see you at the craft table. All right, here we are at the craft table. And I said antique gold, it's actually antique brass. And this is 1/2 inch. It's by Zutter, and it's called Bind It All. Again, antique brass. And again, it really is thin enough that you could close it with your fingers. I used 8 prongs, but as you know from the Cricut part you saw before, we actually only ended up using 7. That was one of my changes. Here is my front and back. This paper is from Victoria Designs, and that'll be linked below for you. All right, here is my cup dimensions and where I messed with the hole punches. Here's my layering piece and my title piece. And I thought I was going to do 2 fronts and 2 backs, but I didn't. Here's a quick, easy way to take paper off without actually bending it. So if you've never done it that way, you might try it. It's a nice way to get that paper off. I'm going to start off here just by coloring up some pieces of paper. And now I'm going to go ahead and run the brown piece here through a piece to kind of make it look like it's sort of not variegated. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, you can type it down below if you think of it. You know, with the ridges. Corrugated. There we go. Corrugated. Make it look a little bit corrugated, although you're not going to see very much with the title on top of it. All right, so I'm going to start building my cup here. I'm using double score tape as well as fabric tack just because I really want it to stick. And if you watch many of my videos, you know I use a lot of fabric tack over double score just simply because it gives me that wiggle room in case I don't get things lined up exactly the way I want to line them up. So there's that fabric tack, just a little bit over the top so I can just slide around a little bit if I need to. Now you're going to notice I didn't get this placed on the cup exactly right, and I had some overhang, so I had to cut that off later, but again, it was no big deal. All right, so now let's go ahead and take this piece. We did the same thing, a little bit of double score tape and some fabric tack, and now there it is on the front of the cup. I should have moved it up just a little bit there. All right, here we are at my cinch machine. Now, I had to trim that edge there. I have my front and my back piece in, and I have it right at the 11. I have pulled stops 1 and 2 and stop 10. So again, lining it up right at the 11, I've got it straight, so the back is pushed snugly against the back side of the cup. So I'm showing you there that I did pull 1 and 2, stops 1 and 2, and stop 10. All right, barely at 11 there at the bottom if you're using your cinch, and we punch the holes through the front and the back. And there it is, front and back punched. Now for the paper, I did 30 sheets. Again, stops 1 and 2 and 10 are all pulled, and I am going 11 minus 2. That's about 10 and 7/8, I believe. All right, so I just went 2 marks to the left of the 11 in case you're not very mathematically minded, or again, 10 and 7/8, I believe is true. All right, so now I've got my paper punched. And it's going to take a minute because, you know, you have several sheets of paper. So you're going to go punching through there. And it does take a few minutes, but be very careful to line them up very carefully and get it as close as you can every time to the same spot, because that's going to make your notebook look much neater than if you have some slightly off from the others. All right, so I'm going to speed up my camera here, punch the rest of them, and I'll talk about something else as we punch through these. Now, a couple of changes that I made to the cup. The cup lid, I really thought that I would put one on the front and one on the back. One in the front, one in the back of the front cover, one in the front, one in the back of the back cover. And then I figured out, no, there's no reason to put one on the back cover because they were just going to run into each other. So that was going to be a problem. So that's one change I made. All right, let's put this notebook together and then I'll tell you more changes. The first thing you put in is all of the pages, then your front cover, exactly the way you would look at it, okay? So you've got all of your pages in, all right, just facing forward, then your front cover, then your back cover goes in backwards. All right, so the correct side faces the correct side. Printed side faces printed side. Now your cinch machine, you can now come in and take it to 1/2 inch because that's what I'm going to. I'm going to a 1/2 inch here. I need the 1/2 inch for the 1/2 inch antique brass binding piece. So you press down, you push down, and you turn, and you take it to the 1/2. All right, then you kind of keep it like a C, push it in against the back, don't get your fingers under there, and just push straight down. Now you don't have to push hard, you don't need to smash them or anything, but you do want to push firmly because you want to make sure that it does close, all right? If it doesn't, don't worry about it. If you lose a page, just slide it back in. And then you can just either manipulate it with your fingers or you can stick it back in the machine and redo it. All right, so here's the part that you can see that I cut off. I had that little edge piece there, right? But I ended up cutting it off because when I opened it, it kept stopping the page. You can see that it's kind of in the way back there. So I changed that. All right, that's different than what you see in the finished project. So now, again, I'm going to use that fabric tack. I also redid this lid from my prototype just a little bit. It was a little funny. I'm not sure what was going on with it, but I changed it a little bit, so I think it's going to be much neater now and fit together much nicer. All right, and so there it is. There's my little coffee notebook. And again, I've made the changes, so I think it's going to fit together really nicely. I'll be honest, I haven't tried it yet, but I think it will. I think it's going to be a lot better. I also moved my verbiage over to the right because some of it was getting lost there in the binding. So that was another change I made. All right. Hey, if there's something you want to try for the very first time, we'd love to see it over at Path of Positivity. Come share your make with us. We'd love to see what you're doing. Okay, maybe you don't want to try something for the first time. That's okay. It's an optional theme. You can come share anything you like with us. We'd love to see it. All right, there's the address, and I will catch up with you in the next video. Bye.